Okay, it says we're live.
Hello, everyone. It's me, Karen. That's me. And we have Tiffany and Ingrid, my two crafty friends we are just so excited to be here. And we have something really cool for you. And we're just going to get started because that's the fun part. You guys want to say anything? Hello?
I have a slight echo, just saying.
That's okay.
Hi, everybody. Excited to be
Hello.
here. This is my first live.
Woohoo, Ingrid, I'm so proud of you. Yay.
Hello.
So we have a lot of people joining, and as you join, and we will hope that you can, if you want to create with us, all you need is a fine point Sharpie marker, some watercolor paper or mixed media paper, a brush, either with water or without, and some markers or pencil crayons or watercolors or anything you want. And the premise of neurographic art, if I'm not sure if you've seen the video from last week that I posted on my YouTube channel, it is something super relaxing and something that I really feel anybody could benefit from doing. So we're going to start, and Tiffany and Ingrid are going to do it along with me, and I hope you guys are joining as well. And the first thing is to set our intention. And our intention is basically a concern or a problem or some kind of stressor that you have in your life. And you want to you can write it at the back of your paper if you want. So sometimes I just write it in the back of my paper. I'm using this little book. Or you can think of it in your head while you're creating. So you guys have the option to do either one. And just to give you an example for myself, I am going to write. So for me, a lot of the time is that I want to feel less stress. And basically, even though I'm starting with a little bit of, let's say, nervousness right now during the live stream, I want to feel less stress. And feel free if you two want to share. And anybody in the actual live stream can share if they want as well.
Can I just clarify something? Just because
Sure.
It was confusing to me when you said fine point earlier. Just for anybody who's still grabbing their supplies, I have a Sharpie that's got 2, and I would normally think that's the fine point, the really extra fine. But just make sure you want just what you would consider to be a normal Sharpie. And what do they choose if they don't have a Sharpie on hand, Karen?
Oh, that's a good question. So if, for example, I forgot that you can also use something like alcohol markers like Copics or any other brand. And I wouldn't recommend Sharpie if you're using that because this is alcohol based, but you can definitely use an acrylic paint marker, like something like the, what is that brand called? I forget. Well, an acrylic paint marker, Posca pen. That's what I was trying to say. Or maybe a watercolor marker if you're using things like Copics. But I wouldn't recommend a watercolor marker, obviously, because if you're using watercolors, it will mix. So you want to make sure that you don't use the same type of brand or the same type of medium for the lines and for the coloring, if that makes sense.
And then I'm just going to use Bristol paper, I think, and Karen's using watercolor paper, I think.
So that's so you want to use a thick enough paper that it will not, rip when you're using your mediums, and also that you want to make sure that I use the smooth side of the paper so it blends better. And I'm going to set my intention. Then that is today is January 8th, so I put the date, and you don't have to. And it says, I want and I have noticed that my stress levels literally go down as I'm creating this. Now, the next step is to draw a line. And what I want you guys to do is to take 3 seconds to just draw a continuous line. It doesn't matter in which direction. Just basically count 1, 2, 3. Well, not that fast. 1, 2, 3 in your head, and you're going to draw.
Well, this is fun. I tore paper. I tore tape to tape my piece down, and of course, it was too short. This is live crafting.
Oh. Yeah, so what Ingrid is doing is great. If you're using a loose paper, make sure that you actually seal it on all sides so it doesn't move.
All sides. Okay, I just did 2.
Well, if it's not moving, then you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna adjust it.
Now, when you draw the line, make sure that it doesn't end abruptly in the middle of your page. So if you have to extend the lines, just extend them all the way till the edge. So for example, if I'm making more lines, and you can add more lines, end them there. You don't want to do something like this and end it there. You want to make sure that all lines are either ending or off the page, so there is a continuous flow for the eye to see. And I usually fill any area that I feel is missing either lines or it's unbalanced. So empty space or pieces that I might think that when I'm coloring will be too big. So for example, this piece right here, if I have to color all of this, will be a very large piece. So I want to break that a little bit.
And you can go through the other ones. I saw you do that.
Yes. Go through the other ones. And you can also add nice fun shapes. So for example, you can add something like circles. You can add hearts. I've added hearts before, and I really like doing that. So I'm just going to kind of draw a heart.
Oh, I didn't really think about adding a heart. That's kind of cool.
And you can add triangles, squares, any type of shape that you might like. I actually, you know which one I like adding is an infinity link. I like adding that. So let's add that. There you go. Looks like a bow.
I kind of like having this taped down because it gives me a starting point. It's awkward to start off the paper otherwise. So
that's right. So you can continue off the page. That's right. Off the.
Am I allowed to start over, or is that against the rules?
No, it's perfect. No starting over, because it's your own design. It's perfect. Anything you draw is great.
I can or no?
You can start if you want. Yes, go ahead. Yeah, but I love what you did already.
Oh, and you know, it's interesting because like the perfectionist in me is seeing all the little things like the little wobbles and the thicker lines versus the thinner lines. And like this, I can see I was not as confident making that particular one. So it's got wobbles. So it's interesting that I'm noticing all this.
But what happens is that the next step after this is called a transformation. And that's my favorite part. And you'll see that those kind of things, then you can actually fix those. And it really works towards somebody who's a perfectionist, because you can actually fix your mistakes or your wobbles or whatever it is. Or, you know, if your hand shook or something like that.
I love that. Did we mention that Tiffany and I have never done this before?
No. Oh yeah, we haven't.
Which is never done this before. They're trying it out fresh from everything. So
yeah, we saw Karen's video. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I just had to try it. We had a bright idea of like, let's do it live. What could go wrong, right?
Yep. Nothing. We're doing it perfectly.
So is this like done? I'm just for everybody who's watching and trying along too, because this is a question that I have right now. So since this is my first time and you've done many of these, Karen, I'm just curious. So like right now I'm thinking, do I need more? And this is something that I come up against a lot in art. I come up a lot against, you know, is it done? So like for me right now, this whole area down here, I feel like it needs something. And my general rule is at that point, stop. But what do you suggest having done this before?
So you don't have to add everything now, because once we do the transformation and you see whether or not you filled that gap in your in the composition, if you feel that after you did the transformation, you still feel like there needs something there, you can always go and add an extra loop there.
Awesome.
There's always a point where we can improve and add and do more. But right now, I want you to wait to see if that's really the case or not. So that's a good point of that you asked, because you wait until to see if the composition really needs that extra balance or not. And you will see that once you start rounding the corners, which is the next step. And let me tell you about it, because this is that is my favorite part, because I find that this really transforms everything.
Okay. Cool.
And the key to the transformation is that, and I'm going to show you how to do this part. I mean, not that it's hard, but I'm just, what the point of it is that it's not only transforming in our artwork, but it's transforming in ourselves. So the transformation will happen not only in the artwork, but it will also happen within ourselves. And that is what helps to kind of start relaxing, and you will find yourself, and I'm curious how you will feel after doing this part. I want to know your feedback on it. Because for me, I become this hyper-focused person, and I just basically all I do is just concentrate. So you might not hear us talk for this part, and that's okay. I mean, talking about other people. And this is the key of what you do. You see that every intersection that you have within the loops has 4 corners, almost all of them. Some of them maybe have 2, but most of them have 4. And what we want to do is we want to round the edges, to take the edge off, almost literally and metaphorically. So what you're going to do is you're going to round the inner edges of every corner. All 4 corners need to be rounded. And your lines might thicken, and that's okay. And this is where you can fix your mistakes by thickening the lines. So if it's already thick, you don't have to add anymore. Just round the corner and it will match it up. But if you want to, if your line is too thin, then you can always thicken it the way I'm doing right now.
That is oddly satisfying.
It is very relaxing because it takes away, so almost like those jagged corners, the jagged lines, they suddenly become soft. And I feel that that's why I always connect with circular shapes in my art. I use a lot of circles and I connect with them a lot. Not only me, I think it's a common thing. And that is because it pleases the eye, our brain too. So you see here, everything is rounded.
That's kind of fun. Well, I have
and
to
I
say,
sometimes
go ahead. No, go. Oh, I was just going to say, if, since seems like a little bit of a time where we would normally just be quiet doing this, we could probably tell everybody how this even came to be.
You mean the live stream?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to mention, though, also sometimes I even round the edges right at the edge of my paper because I find I like it better. Ingrid and Tiffany are some of my very good crafty YouTube friends. And we've been friends for 2 years now? Like really good friends.
Yeah.
I mean, Tiffany I know for longer, but Ingrid, we met Ingrid about 2 years ago, right when COVID started.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And we became really great friends. We have like a similar, work ethic and mission for our channels and for creativity. And we just really get along really well. And when they saw my video, right, you guys saw my video, and this kind of inspired you, right?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I came onto YouTube for a different reason, and I saw Karen's thumbnail, and I think it was honestly the colors and just the flow of the design. It caught my eyes so much. I had to go see the video. And then the more I did it, it reminded me a little bit of Zentangling, and how much, that relieves me stress-wise. And it just seemed like it would be a lot of fun. And I don't do, as you guys all know on my channel, those of you who have watched my stuff, I don't do a lot of coloring. I do a lot of other types of mixed media. So this had a real appeal to me. And then Tiffany and I and Karen were all talking, and both Tiffany and I wanted to do this, but we decided to get really real with you guys and vulnerable and do this for the first time to show you, that we're just crafters just like you. So anytime we find something fun, it's just kind of fun to just join in. So I encourage anybody who's watching to go, you're not behind. Just go ahead and grab some supplies and jump in. Tiffany, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
Oddly enough, it's like peaceful, but doing this live is like really stressful to me. So,
and it's your first live too.
Yeah, I can't imagine how you feel.
So
Ingrid.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, it's just, there's so many different stressful things in life, and I find that art, we all probably do art as some form of stress relief, but to do it then live in front of people and be vulnerable and do something for the first time can be a lot. So I just want to kind of show you guys that this is what we do too. We're just like you. So I encourage you to try it.
Yeah, I want to comment about the Zentangling. A lot of people that do neurographic art, especially people that use it for art therapy, there's a lot of art therapists that use this, and even psychotherapists that use it. They actually combine it with Zentangling because it takes it like one step further. So not only are you making all the shapes, but you're also filling it in with different lines and other. I mean, I want to call it doodling. I know it's not a Zentangling, I guess is the right word.
Yeah.
But it does help, because what it does, if you notice for these ones, especially the one like you guys, yours even like looks more like almost like neurons in the brain. So the reason why this was it's called neurographic is because it has to do with the neurons, and those which are like cells that send messages in the brain to the whole body. And if you actually look under a microscope, or if you look at a picture of a neuron, or all the neurons together, they kind of look like almost like this tangling of this web, kind of like what yours is. Yours is more similar because I put hearts and stuff, and obviously there's no hearts inside the neurons. But for you guys did like such a good job. It really looks like neurons are all interconnected together.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's
and
really
if you
cool.
forget to round a corner, do not worry. Sometimes you will not notice. I forget them all the time because you're doing them all, but sometimes you miss something. That's okay. Don't stress. Just you can always go back with the marker and just redo it.
Yeah, this is kind of cool. Now I'm kind of feeling like I need something else here. So
yes,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. I usually add shapes or more lines in a place where I feel that the shape might be too big. So for example, here, this shape might be too big to color. So even if you're not actually adding a full line, you can cut the shape in half by adding a little bit of a smaller line here. And that works as well. And you're kind of cutting that shape in half, and then you're just adding more of just make sure if you're adding more shapes to round the corners again. The rounded corners is my favorite part, besides adding color.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I see a couple comments in the chat on my live stream, that because we have 3 different live streams going on at the same time, which is kind of interesting, which is a first for all 3 of us. So that's been a whole level of stress, just saying.
Yes, it is. But it worked out.
But I do have several people commenting being a card maker, which is interesting. Primarily since I love to do art that you can be framed as well as doing cards. That's why I decided to go with a smaller size and maybe even cut this down eventually. Or this would be very cool to die cut into smaller shapes even. There's so many things you could do from this.
Definitely can be used for card backgrounds. It would look so cool. And imagine that it was made with this relaxing feeling for somebody who gets it. That whole feeling goes with the card to that person. And I think that's amazing.
Might just have to send you this card, Karen.
Yes, please. I actually, talking about framing, which is really cool, I actually framed one of my first ones. And here it is. You see, like something like this. And what I like about this is that some of the really cool ones have like hidden shapes. So as I'm doodling, or as I'm like filling in the corners, I start seeing things in the actual shapes. And I find that fascinating.
So Lynette on my live stream in the chat, she says, looks peaceful. Turning the radio on and creating would be awesome. And I agree.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think Karen, she just came back from the beach. She went on vacation and I don't know, did you take this with you and do it on the beach?
So so beach is one of the places that relaxes me the most. And I actually did take it to do it on the plane. And because I figured, you know what, I was very stressed on the plane because of, you know, all the mask wearing and all the like things. And I thought I will just sit here and just relax and do it. But then what happened is that I ended up watching movies instead, but I did take it to the beach. The first day I went down, I'm like, oh, I'm going to make this at the beach. And then the ocean healed me, like, you know, like made me feel so good that I just didn't even like, I didn't even do it. But I feel that this would be something that you can take on the go. So because it requires so little material. So if you want to do some art, like even like something simple like this, you can take a little book with you and just go ahead and do that. And one of the things I offered in some of the videos is that if you want, you can click, I did a neurographic PDF that people can download if they want. So you can click the link. I think it's below my video. And that will give you like a step-by-step, so you don't have to, so you don't forget.
And anybody watching this, I'm sure Tiffany will too. I'll add those links that she's talking about to the description underneath this video afterward. I am right now, Karen. So I just want to explain what I'm doing here, because I'm looking at this and I'm feeling like it needs something. So I'm kind of envisioning this as the base of a heart right here. So I'm kind of thinking of adding a line and just drawing through here with my pen before touching the paper, and just kind of envisioning what it'll look like, just in case you guys were wondering what I was doing. Because now that I kind of have a pattern going, I can kind of see where it's going. So I'm going to go off my paper, come down, make a loop, and then figure that it comes back down that way. So it kind of looks like a heart. We'll see if it ends up like that at the end.
So for me, what I start seeing, for example, is that because I do a lot of loops, I start seeing people in my artwork. I don't know. So for example, I see a person here and another person here. They're kind of like dancing. This is one of the things I love seeing. So for example, in this other one that I made, I saw a bunch of people sitting together, and I actually called this the gathering, because I felt like they were all sitting, having like, you know, on the floor, kind of having a picnic or something like that. And I really like that, as opposed to, for example, this one, which it almost looked like a tree or something like that. Something, I don't know, a bunch of people. I don't know. I just find that I see things in the actual artwork, and I find that really cool.
So I'm like thickening up my lines right now. Is that what you would recommend?
If you want it, you don't
because of the corners.
Yeah. So you just go over all the corners and make sure that everything is rounded. Like, look, it's sometimes we miss them because you think it's rounded, but you missed the other. See here, I just missed one right here, and I just rounded. So I'm just going around and looking and searching and seeing if I need to add any other line anywhere. So for example, I would like to have a line here. So I'm going to round this corner. So adding lines is acceptable, right? Because what you're doing is that you're adding some to the composition.
So I think I need a different, I have a Milwaukee. This is like, my husband uses this for, I don't know, all kinds of different stuff. Like, I don't know, I guess it's like a guy Sharpie. I don't know.
I didn't know that was such
I don't know. But I don't think it's fine enough, because I think my lines are too thick. And it's like, for me, I don't necessarily like this, but I feel that there's definitely potential, because I think I'm not 100% happy with my lines. So I think I'm going to get, my Sharpie was dry. So that's why I'm using a different one.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I just wanted to say that if, you know, first time, if you don't 100% like it, doesn't mean that you can't go revisit it.
And I have a feeling that, Karen, even afterward, we can probably thicken up lines and stuff too, right?
Yes, you can, definitely. And you sometimes, even if you make a mistake, you can thicken up the line. So for me, the first one that I ever did, it wasn't one of my favorites. I know, because that's what happens, right? Practice and practice. Like here, this is one of my, excuse me. This is my first one that I ever did. And I actually did it with watercolors, not with these pencils, and I found it a little bit harder to do. And I also didn't finish the lines all the way across. I realized after that I should have. And that's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. And I actually like what you're doing in yours, Tiffany, is that I like that your corners are thicker than your things. I tend to like thicken the whole thing. I tend to thicken all the lines as well, but you don't have to. That's the point. So if you thicken the lines, or even thicken them at the beginning and leave them thin, after, that works too.
I think I'm good. I don't know if I missed something. Somebody will have to tell me.
If you did, it doesn't matter, because like you have the opportunity to round them after. There's no mistakes in this. It's just basically just going back. Cool. And now we're going to get into coloring, and I think we're all using the same colors, which is the Zig Clean. Wait, I have a hard time saying this. Kuretake Zig Clean Color Real Brush Markers. Yeah, they can't have any more of a longer name than these markers. Seriously. Here, you can actually see Zig Clean Color Real Brush. Yeah.
So do you have any recommendations on colors?
So I always say go with the colors that you resonate the most. I love bright colors, and I love certain like colors like more than others, and I tend to gravitate towards the blues and the greens and the purples, but I do add some yellow and orange. As you can see, I added. Now there's different ways to color, and that's something that I want to talk about a little bit. You can color each shape separately.
I made a line that I didn't mean to.
So then round it off. You can make a line out of it, no mistakes.
Oh, this is so real crafting, people. Right here, right?
Yes, exactly.
You finish the masterpiece and you drop the ink pad. That's what happens.
That happens. Definitely happens. But so coloring is so personal, and this is why I want to make sure that you do what you feel best, what you feel most comfortable with, what makes you feel happy, because this is something that you're making for yourself, whether it is to relax or to connect or to just feel good, and to turn like what you do is you're transforming the negative stuff, which is what I wrote about the stress. I'm transforming it into something positive and something that I can feel more relaxed about. And you can grab colors, and you can definitely color different shapes like the way I did here. So some purple, some orange, some blue, or you can do like a group. So for example, this whole section orange, and this whole section blue, and this whole section green. Okay. You have the choice to do it that way, or to use some coloring composition rules, which we can talk about as well. But in the meantime, pick first one color. And for me, I always gravitate towards the turquoise. So that's the one I'm going to color. And you have two options in this as well. The point of it is to shade every single shape. So you want to have it darker around the edges and getting it lighter as it goes into the middle. So you can start, for example, with this color, and I'm just going to add a thin line around. And you can do this, as I said, with watercolors or with watercolor pencils or crayons. So,
and I have completely messed mine up at the top, which is totally fine, because I did do an individual piece. And the nice part about it is if I don't like it once I color it, I'm going to end up lopping it off anyway, because this is going to go on a card. So I'm not going to stress over it.
I'm glad you say that. And now I'm going to grab my watercolor brush, and I'm slowly going to blend it towards the inside. And what I love about these colors is that they blend really nicely. And as you can see, they're getting lighter as you go inwards, okay? Now you have two options. You could leave it like this, okay, where you're just shading it with this color, or you can take a darker shade of the same color, add another little line on top, and blend it again. So you're getting even more shading, and that's up to you.
I don't know if I should go bright or neutral.
maybe somewhere in between, because I am going bright and Tiffany is going neutral. So,
I'm going to let my audience decide.
okay, that's a good idea.
I wanted to say thank you, Susan, for coming over here and letting me know. Ingrid, your chat is saying I'm too hard on myself.
Aww. And
Aw.
thank
Don't
you
make me cry. This is not
thank
a
you
sign.
to everybody's moderators. Also,
Yes,
by the way.
Thank you,
you.
Elaine and Susan and Lynette, right? They're all
Lynette
moderating.
and Nicole.
Oh, and Nicole, yes.
Oh, I've got bright and neutral. I don't know what to do.
Well, start with your
Okay, I got it. Two brights.
You got it. Okay,
All right,
start with
I'm
your
good.
whatever calls you name first.
Although I
So one of the art rules that I like using
ahead.
is the rule of thirds, or it's called I call it also the triangle rule. To create balance on a page, you want to have almost form like a triangle. It's very common in card making, scrapbooking, or even in like composition forms when you're doing fine art, which I don't do, but just saying. So you see here, I have two blues. So in order for myself to have an extra triangle, I want to add triangle in my page. I am going to draw this third one over here. I mean, not draw, paint, color. Same draw, but that's not what I mean.
So when I'm using zigs, I like to add the water first because here I'm not getting the blend that I want. So I like to add the water first and then go in with, I haven't used zigs in a long time. And then it acts more like a watercolor and it blends itself out rather than you having to do more work. That's just my preference of using them, but yes.
That's great, yeah.
I have the Zig blender pen.
Wow, I never heard of that actually.
Yes, so it's neutral in color. Yeah, so we're going to test that out. It's my first time. I just cracked it open right before this. So
a lot of firsts.
A lot of firsts. A lot of firsts.
So now I'm going to pick another set of colors. And that's why I like organizing them like this. I actually put them in this way so I can see them right away. Oh, I'm losing my AirPod. It fell out of my ear. 1 second.
All right.
I find this part really relaxing.
I was going to say, now this I can do. I can color.
Gosh, it's been so long since I've colored. This is fun.
It is.
This is great.
So I was trying to think why this coloring is different, for example, than just coloring in like a coloring book or something like that. I really thought about that. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, before I answer that question. Make sure you clean your brush between applications, because otherwise it blends. So I was really trying to think about that because I don't enjoy coloring in coloring books. It's not something that I enjoy. So I was really trying to think, well, why do I like doing this and not coloring? And I think it has to do something with the whole intention that it has behind, and the shapes. Like I feel like in the shapes of the coloring book, you can control. It's a finite, like basically whatever the way it comes, it's what you get. You get what you get and you don't get upset. But here you can make any shapes you want and it's your own artwork. And I think that's what makes the difference for me.
You know what's actually kind of fun, Karen, is that everything that you just said, but also I just kind of let go and just let the shapes just happen, which is kind of cool. And then freedom, very much like what you just said. And also the fact that, as I was tweaking it, if I felt like I needed something, I could add it. Whereas in a coloring book, very much like what you just said, you don't get that option.
No, it's like you get what you get. You can't choose.
It's funny how nervous I am right now. Good thing I'm not trying to draw a straight line.
So another art rule that it really helps is the rule of odd numbers. And as you can see, that when you're coloring, it's for your eye to have balance. Usually odd numbers work well. So you see I have 3 blue ones, but now I only have 4 pink ones. So in order for myself to have that balance with the pink, I kind of need to bring a fifth shape into the same color. And that helps to kind of bring balance to the eye when I'm looking at it, if that makes any sense. Oh, and here, look, you see here, I missed rounding a corner right here. So I'm going to go back with my Sharpie and just round it. There we go.
Okay, my Sharpie is bleeding. So don't use a hubby Sharpie. These Milwaukee Inksol ones.
Maybe it's ink
no.
and not alcohol based.
No, it smells exactly like a Sharpie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It could be the combination of too much water, because I'm sure eventually.
Oh, because you added the water at the beginning too.
Yeah.
No, but I've added a lot of water and it was fine. And even when I added the bleach the other day, it did not bleach the Sharpie. It stayed full. Like I don't know if you guys saw the video with the bleach that I poured by accident. And where did it go? Oh, there. And I poured it over this and it bleached everything, but the Sharpie stayed straight. So it was interesting that it didn't affect it.
This is kind of fun. I'm enjoying this.
Is anybody else creating?
Yeah, I saw a few people said that they were.
Oh,
and I really wanted to say hi to so many people, but it was just I was trying. It's hard to concentrate on so many things at the same time. So hello everyone, if whoever I missed.
Yes, hello to every single person that is here for my very first live.
Yay.
We're so thankful you're here, really, truly. And please share if you are if you did create with us today, please tag us either on Instagram or on Facebook, wherever you are. You like sharing. You can share in my group as well. But for Tiffany and Ingrid, you can all tag us on Instagram so we can see your beautiful artwork. We just really want to see everybody's art.
Yeah. I'm being mindful for what colors are next to each other as I'm going. So just an FYI, and that's just basic color theory. Just what colors pop. I always talk about coordinating complementary colors. So,
and I've always loved, Tiffany, how you blend colors. There's something very therapeutic about watching you blend colors. Even when you used to do it on the cards and stuff, I've always really loved how you do it, because you have it. Yours is different than most people. I mean, definitely mine, but most people that blend, you have a different way. You're very, very, very patient. Something that I'm not.
This is something where I can just sit and enjoy the process, even though I'm not 100% happy with like the actual lines, but the blending and the adding the color is really, I really like that. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun doing this a second and third time for sure.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I want to try one that's got bigger spaces. See, now my mind is going, okay, so now I'm gonna start to think creatively. I want to use gelatos. But I don't think I can do that in such a small space. So I think that I'm going to try one that has bigger spaces and get out some of those supplies that sit around collecting dust and see what I can do with those.
Right. So I want to try the Prima water-soluble markers, which are similar to the gelatos or the crayons, but I also want to try the mermaid markers from Jane Davenport. I have them sitting there. I haven't used them in a while. And somebody said, oh, would this work? And I'm like, yes, I need to try this. So I'm excited to try. And I'm having this book is going to be filled full of neurographic art.
This would be a great way to use, because I know myself, I have tons of different brands of like watercolors, or like I have like the Tim Holtz crayons, like all sorts of different mediums, and to try them out to see.
So I did try it out in this book with some watercolor pencils, and I found, I mean, I didn't enjoy it as much only because I found them harder to blend, and they were not as vibrant, and I love really vibrant colors. So that's the only thing, but they work. It looks really beautiful even with that. And by the way, you can do a few shapes at a time. It doesn't have to be one shape at a time.
This is kind of fun.
I hope there's no like sticklers out there for shading rules, because
Yeah, I'm
No
letting that all
shading.
go out the window.
yeah,
I've got
I think you have to in
Yeah.
something like this. Yeah.
I think when you try stuff for the first time, and I don't know about any of you that are in the audience, you can chime in too. Trying stuff for the first time, I try not to think about every single little thing, and I'm just trying to get the gist of it before honing in, specifics.
Yeah. That's a good point. Because then it becomes too stressful, and it defeats the purpose of, especially something like this. It's supposed to be relaxing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I always say that, enjoy the process. So
Yeah, I do
I have
too.
to practice what I preach, right?
Exactly.
Well, I think what it did, like the video that I shared, a lot of people commented that they were stuck creatively, and that doing this actually helped them get unstuck, if that's a word, because it helped them kind of not have to think of the process, just doing it. And other people commented that, all art is relaxing. And I definitely agree with that. But there's something about this type of art, whether it's Zentangling or this one, that makes it not have to think. But because even when I'm creating my art, like let's say I'm doing an art journal or like even a card or whatever you're making, you still have to think of the process. You still have to like know what the next step is. And for this, you don't really have to. I can talk and create at the same time without even, with no issue.
I'm just finding I wish I had more colors.
Oh, I have the 90.
Oh, I don't have the 90. I think I have the 48. I think I have the 48.
Oh, I see. Yeah. I was like, I bought these actually probably like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm like, I'm just going to splurge and get the biggest one. But the Arteza ones work as well. They're good. I mean, I know people like have used those.
I'd love for people to chime in the different chats with what watercolor markers you guys have, or real brush markers, and how you like them, and the different papers. Because I know that for me, I'm using Bristol paper because with these they work the best. And that way, and this blender pen has been great. I don't need a watercolor pen, so I don't feel like I'm loading up the paper, which is really nice.
Well, that's beautiful. I love how you guys are turning out. Michal said that she thinks pastel pencils would look great here too. I think so. Yeah.
Somebody's asking LLTPGH. They are asking, what is neurographic art? But I can, I don't know if you wanted to explain again, but I can tell, you can always go to the, Karen has a video that she shared over on her channel, or you can, of course, watch the replay.
That's so good.
And also I have the
link
PDF.
We'll
I also have the
sure.
PDF form. Yeah. But just to tell you, since we're coloring, so neurographic art itself, it actually, there's 2 Latin words that are meshed together, neuro and graphic. And it was kind of developed by a Russian artist called Pascal Piskarev. And he's not an artist. Actually, he's a psychologist and artist. And if you look him up, he has his artwork is completely different than what I'm making here. Like it has like all these lines everywhere, and it's very, very cool. And what he did is he wanted to have art and that creates the intention and the transformation, but from something that is negative to something that is positive. And the reason why he called it neurographic art is because the word neuro in Latin means neuron, like it comes from the nervous system. And because they kind of look like neurons, which are the cells in the nervous system that basically transfer all the information from our brain to the body, he just basically used that word. And graphic obviously means artistic, and the 2 words together means like artistic, I guess, for the nerves, or for the not the nerves, not the what is that called, for the nervous system. So like to basically help it, like, and it actually is supposed to also like help with the connection within the nerves and the neurons in the body, and enhance that and kind of relax that and have your brain not always be in that anxiety mode.
Glad you had to explain that, not me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nicely done, Karen.
It's hard because I'm not a scientist. If we had our friend Laura, who is
Yes,
a
Laura
scientist,
would have been perfect.
she
But it
would
was
have
a
been
little
able to
late.
explain it much better. She's a scientist. She has a
For those of
PhD.
you who don't know, she's an astrophysicist,
Yeah,
a literal rocket scientist.
yeah, that's cool. But she has a craft channel as well with cards, which is beautiful as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the people here have. Susan has a craft channel.
Yeah.
Lynette, Nicole. There's a lot of. I mean, so yeah. Oh, I just wanted to say that I'm using a water brush that has water in it already. This is a Pentel, I can't say it. Yeah, Pentel brush. And I found that from all the ones that I've tried, this one is the one that I find blends the nicest, the best. I have other ones that I don't find as blendy, if that's a word. I don't know.
Blendy?
Blendy. Okay, I make up words sometimes. Or the words made up for me, which what happened in my video the other day. For those of you who get my notifications, you might have seen the big boo-boo that I wrote on my title the other day, which was really funny, and everybody got a good laugh about it. Yeah. So my title was I bleached my art the other day, but instead of writing art, I had the letter W in front of me, and it notified everybody on my list. I bleached my wart, and everybody laughed. I switched it right away.
So my question is, afterward, did you do neurographic art to de-stress?
I might have, yes, because I was very stressed because my friend called me, asked me, what do you write? What did you write? And I was like, what are you talking? I didn't even know what she was talking about. She says, I'm sure you did not mean to write, I bleached my wart. And I'm like, no. And then Tiffany, what was your joke? She said, Tiffany, what do you say? At least it wasn't an F.
Yeah. Kathy is asking me if I'm going to color it all or leave spaces.
Ooh, great question.
I'm not sure exactly at this point because I don't know. I'm just going with it.
And I think for me, at some point, I'm probably going to try one that's really got some really light spaces and actually use like a micron pen and maybe even do some Zentangling over spaces.
I would love to see how that looks because I don't have the patience to do Zentangling, but I'm willing to learn that as well. So
now I do find it interesting to see how all three of us are coloring differently.
I agree. I was going to say the same thing.
Tiffany is really spread out, being very intentional with what she's doing. And I'm using too many colors. I'm recognizing that. So I'm like going way outside my norm. And Karen's is looking really cool too. So
yeah, we have different different ways of coloring, also different ways of even blending, it's like it's just that's what makes us unique. And I'm sure if we see other people's, it will be the same. Oh, somebody's asking what is Zentangling. Ingrid, take it away.
Oh, good Lord. I'm not going to be able to do the real description justice. I mean, I don't have any, you know what? I'm not at my desk, so I don't have any examples right near me. I'd have to get up to get one. Considering I broke my toe yesterday, that's going to be a problem. Yes. You start with very simple string, very much like you do here, a simple string, which gives you boundaries. And within those boundaries, you just start to create patterns, and it's repetition, and it's so much fun, and it's so relaxing. I started because I needed some sort of a stress reliever, and just the simple use of repetitive patterns, I don't know. It got rid of so much stress for me. I encourage everybody to kind of check it out a little. I'll link some good tutorials in the description. But sorry, I didn't do that justice because I wasn't prepared for that.
Okay, so send us those links as well so we can put them in our description as well.
Yeah. One of my viewers, Rochelle, she said, I Zentangled my piece last night. I love it.
Oh, nice.
That's great. I really find this relaxing.
I'm doing a much bigger area, which is a little challenging.
I find it that it's basically what I feel is like I'm just relaxing and doodling with friends. That's what it feels like to me.
She says Zentangle is organized doodling.
It's really, really great. It's so much fun. I've learned so much. I actually learned how to draw by learning how to Zentangle, quite honestly. It's so much fun. Simple patterns.
There's lots of videos on that you can always find on
Yeah.
YouTube as well. Yeah, I just love how we're all like, even the way we're coloring, like spreading ourselves, whether like, see, I'm spreading it and you're going in one or in order, and Tiffany's like, you know, I just love that it's like shows everybody's uniqueness.
No one was screaming at me that I was off camera.
Oh.
I love Tiffany's color palette. That's like Tiffany's color palette.
Yeah.
Go to
So
palette.
neat. See, I chose a little bit of comfort within something that didn't feel comfortable. So
I'm surprised you didn't pick blue.
Well, it is. It's like a tealy aqua.
Yeah, it's teal, yeah.
Whatever it is. Turquoise. And Persian green. Those are my two favorites for
nice. Oh.
The zigs.
I think I want to do like a full-on masculine one too.
Yeah, that would
love cool. I love masculine colors.
I think I want a darker green in here. So some colors I'm doubling the shades, like doing 2 shades, and some of them are just doing 1. So it depends on.
Ooh, that's too bright.
So yesterday, I was on vacation last week, and I ended up cleaning my office because I needed to have a little bit more clarity. I had too many crafting supplies in one corner in boxes that still hadn't unpacked. So I needed to declutter in order to be in a better mental space creatively. In doing so, I moved a couple chairs and ended up walking right into one and breaking my left foot or toes in the process. So this is actually really nice because I'm in a lot of pain right now sitting here. I'm really enjoying this. And I can see that you could do this sitting in bed, can't you, Karen?
Yes, I actually do it on the couch a lot.
I love that. I may actually have to do that. Yeah.
I do it like sometimes while I'm watching TV, and sometimes like even like just I don't do it I actually almost never do it in my art room except for today when I'm doing it here. Mm-hmm. Most of them I've been doing downstairs because it's something to relax and just enjoy, and just to kind of get my mind off things at the end of the day, especially like doing it at the end of the day. Although it'd probably benefit to do it kind of like a meditation in the morning. But in the morning, I'm usually more energetic. So I need this to relax. It's at night before I go to bed.
I'm curious, have you ever started one and only done like a bit of it and then come back to it?
Yes. So I ran out of time the other day. You can see here. I actually ran out of time. So I ended up just doing, here, I'll show you. The last one I did, I just have the doodles without anything. And I'm going to go back and draw it. But I just wanted to, I just feel like no matter what, there's no rules, right? Like this is my own journal and I can do what I want with it. So if I want to take 2 days to make it, I take 2 days to make it. There is really no set rules, right? Because it's your own creativity. I've walked away even from regular art journals sometimes because I was like, don't have time. I have to pick up my kids from school or whatever it is. I just have to walk away sometimes. Sometimes life happens and you get in the way of finishing an artwork, and that's okay. Oh, Michal is asking you what are masculine colors.
Oh, yeah. Masculine for me, a lot of blues, greens, even like neutral colors like browns, a lot of browns. And so, like this kind of a palette. I'm holding a few colors up. Hopefully, you can see it. And a lot of like what Tiffany is doing as well. Like I've chosen to include a little bit of red and orange. My orange is a little too bright, but that's okay. There's no real mistakes here. My red, I chose a little bit more of a brick red versus a bright red. So for me, masculine colors are just really more of a cool color than a warm color. What about you guys?
Well, I think she was. I don't know if she was asking it as like for like a lot of like males or whatever, like using also pinks and oranges and things like that. So I don't know if she was asking because of that. I'm not 100% sure. She could have been. I like all colors. So for me, I would give something with pink also, right? But I guess some people don't like receiving that. So that would make sense.
I think if I were doing a pink with a masculine card, I'd have to include a lot of gray.
Or brown.
Yeah. And then that would work. Or versus like bright. I just don't think of bright colors as masculine colors in a general masculine theme. What about you, Tiffany?
Same.
I just think that
I'm like zoned in here, and I'm off the page again. Maybe I should.
I think
out.
like
sorry.
The question is, who came up with this masculine and feminine colors? Like, if you think about it, that's just society came up with it. Nobody ever said, "Oh, pink is only for," it was just.
Mm-hmm.
I think I do feel society is getting away from that a little bit as well. But maybe in 100 years from now, it will not be. Oh, muted colors. That's what you said. Yeah.
I love muted colors. Yeah, kind of like more of a cool palette for me is what I gravitate to. I love bright colors, but I have to be in the mood for them. And it's funny. It was interesting. So much of my audience opted for me to go this route, the cool route versus the bright route, the neutral route. Yeah, when I've seen Karen's work, she does so much with the bright colors, and I love it.
Yeah. Even though I don't always, like, let's say, dress that way or something like that, I do love the bright colors. No, that's not true, actually. I do. One of my favorite stores is Desigual, and their clothes is super bright and super, like, patterned and very artsy. And that's basically my favorite store to shop. So I can see myself a lot in that as well. But at home, I'll just wear... if I'm not wearing pajamas, which is probably what I'm wearing right now because we didn't show our faces, but I will wear like, more muted colors. But if I go out, I like wearing a little bit more brighter colors.
It's funny. My mom used to wear bright colors all the time, and that's all she wore. And I'm like all neutral.
Right.
Funny how that happens.
It's preference.
So I'm thinking of, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was thinking of the visual triangle now. That's where I'm gravitating towards.
See, I gave that up.
I don't think you gave it up. You're actually doing it without realizing.
Maybe.
Oh no, I can see it, and I can actually see that you are.
Because I picked so few colors, and I don't want to go through all the colors and find one that I liked with this. So I'm just kind of going with it. But Mandy says, thank you, Mandy. She says, your shading is mesmerizing. Good Day Sunshine says, couch crafting is the best. And Rochelle says, tell Karen I am obsessed too.
Thank you.
Soup Dragon says, I used to draw things like this in the 60s. It's nothing new.
Yeah, so a few people have mentioned that they used to draw it in the 60s, and I want to I completely understand what they mean, because I wonder why only in this, everybody mentions the 60s, and I was trying to figure out why they say the 60s so much. I thought maybe because it was like the era where freedom was very big, or why, like, something was developed then. What I like about this, I mean, I used to doodle in my notebooks, and I used to do many of these things to stained glass and many other similar things, or looking for shapes within shapes and colors. But what I found interesting here was the combination of being able to transform something from a negativity to positivity. And that is very current now with this mindfulness. And I find that that's something that I've never seen done together. Not very often. You have to basically go to an art therapist to actually be able to do that. You can do mindfulness on its own. You can do art on its own. But I like the fact that that he was able to combine the two. And not only that, for me, it made such a difference. Like, it really, I started doing it about a month ago, like at the beginning of December, and I'm a completely different person. Anybody who talks to me in person has said that I'm a very very, like, sometimes, like, I'm like maybe even high strung or very anxious, and I've been very calm, much more calmer in general in my life since I started doing this. And that transformation for me is key. As you can see here, I have like a big shape that I want to cut. So even now that I've almost finished my shape, I'm going to come back here and actually cut this and make the shape smaller. So you can always continue to transform things, even afterwards.
This is kind of fun. This is now to me a too big an area, so I'm feeling the need to make it smaller.
Yeah, that's
which
exactly
which is interesting. So
that's exactly what I felt here as well. I see balloons and eyes. I know I see like a person over here. Somebody see balloons in mine, but I see this person sitting here, and then a few people like kind of up here. They do look like balloons. It's true. I want to add a little bit of yellow in mine because I love yellow. It really brightens everything.
I'm really liking how this all turns out. Wow, our three look totally different.
Yes, it does.
Oh my gosh. I just got a shot of them on the screen. I've been so focused on what I'm doing. They're so different. That's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, I think what Joyce is saying, hippie trends and music in the late 60s, flowers in your hair, very short skirts, hot pants, very arty patterns.
Yeah.
I think that's why people so much remember this from the 60s, because it almost looks like psychedelic or something like that.
Well, we were having a conversation. It reminds me of a lot of actual artists and their works too, and just different things that are out and about. Yeah, and it's just cool. I mean, we never said it was new.
No, it's not a new thing.
None of us have ever said it was new.
It's it's new to me. It was new to me, definitely.
Yes, new to me, exactly.
It was new to me in the sense of like that I've done the doodling before, but I never connected it to the rest. And that was a huge difference for me.
Peter Max in the 60s. Thank you, Beth. Thank you. That's exactly what it was. My husband had a Peter Max poster. That's the artist I was talking about earlier, Karen.
Okay, no, I don't know him. Yeah. Where's my paint?
So I'm going to need some help from somebody here. I've got this big kind of reddish heart, and I want to put something here. And what color do you all think I should do? Olive green? Or is that too close here? Well, let somebody else make the decision for me.
Ingrid, what about like thinking of like complementary colors too?
That would be the green. Yeah.
The green, right?
or do I go neutral?
Well, it's the heart inside the heart. So it's the core of the heart, if you think about that. Somebody said Tiffany blue.
Well, it's funny. I've got teal, purple, yellow, green is what I've been suggested. I think yellow. Yeah. I don't know if I have any of those colors. Because I don't have the 90 set.
I vote the teal. I vote for teal.
Teal.
Do I get a vote?
Of course you get a vote.
Can I take a vowel?
I don't know if I have teal, though. Oh, I have something
sorry,
like
you said
this.
teal. You mentioned it. That's why.
No,
That's what you were
that's
reading.
what they suggested. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that's why the colors you were.
I don't know if the teal's gonna. Well, we'll go with it. It's just for fun, right?
Right.
I'd love to answer any questions if anybody has any questions about anything from any audience.
Oh, hi, Joe. I'm using watercolor paper, 140 pounds, but Ingrid is using Bristol smooth paper. So either one would be good. And we're using Zig Real Color brush markers from Kuretake. They're all listed in the description.
Yeah, if you're going to use a water brush, then Karen, what she's using is best. Like, I'm not using a water brush. I'm using a Zig blender, clean color blender. Although I have used water on this, but you have to be careful with the amount of water that you use.
That's why I like these. Like Tiffany's really good at adding the right amount of water on her to blend with a regular brush. I'm not as good with that because I'm impatient. So that's why these like water brushes that have the water inside really control the water much easier for me because I'm not as good at blending small areas at a time.
Just want to say thank you, Karen Kreider, and thank you, Karen Tabir. The teal looks really nice. I kept it really light. Yeah.
Ooh, I like how this turned out.
I'm liking mine too. I really think this would be really, really cool for, I don't know why I was getting this thought of like thinking of a friend's birthday or something and thinking of them while you're doing this maybe, and then putting it on a card.
So I did that actually. I created one for a friend, for somebody I know, and I thought of them before, and I did this whole thing and I framed it for them. And you can actually see her in the painting. She didn't see it. And when I talked to her, I said, don't you see here, right here, you're holding a baby. And she's like, no way. She when she saw it, she was so surprised herself.
Wow. That's so cool.
Well, I guess it wasn't me.
It wasn't me either.
I'm waiting for one, Karen.
Oh, sorry, it wasn't. I can make you guys one. No, it wasn't. It wasn't actually a friend. Okay, so there was this. I was just not. I was trying not to share too much, but it wasn't a friend. I actually made it for my therapist. Actually, I made her a present, and I sent it to her. And when she saw it, she was holding up. She's a therapist that helps with a lot of like children that have trauma, and you could see in her painting, in the painting that I made for her holding a baby, and then all the children around her, kind of like, all the children that she helped. I thought it was really meaningful, like that had happened. So I kind of finished mine.
Wow.
But since you guys are not done yet, I'm going to go to my other page and finish my other one. So yes.
And I would love, Karen, I would love for you to flip through some of your finished pieces,
I could do that.
if you don't mind, just for our audiences so that they can see that, because you have such a library already of those.
So this book I started on January 1st. I've been doing one a day because I really want to relax. One a day is good. So this blue one was the first one. My favorite color is blue. So I did this one first, and I wrote each one. I wrote the intention in the back. Then I did this one. It kind of reminds me of the ocean and the sunset. I don't know. This reminded me of the ocean.
Ooh, I love that.
And I was missing it a lot. So yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Does look a lot like stained glass. You're right.
Yeah. Then I did this one. Don't know. This one just was cool. I like how this turned out. And then I thought, oh, can I make lots of hearts? So I decided to make a bunch of hearts, and that's what came out of this one. A bunch of different hearts. So I'm just experimenting with different ones. Oh, here's the one that I did with the watercolor pencils. So this one is watercolor pencils, which is, you can see they're more muted. So that's basically the difference. Like, it's like just a little bit more muted for me, and I like it bright. And this was fun, actually. So this one, I had it empty yesterday, and I told my daughter, oh, help me pick some colors. So I actually wrote in the back that she actually helped me pick. She picked every single color that was going to go on this one. So I thought it was very meaningful as well. And I see her and me here kind of like having fun. Like she's very bright and colorful and very, although she's not artsy, she loves, like, she's like this page kind of reminds me of her. And then I have this one that I still have to color. But as you saw, this one, so my husband's a chiropractor, so this kind of looks like a spine to me. I want to frame it for him and give it to him as a gift. So I thought this one would be nice. What other ones do I have? Oh, I started different books with this, so I have them everywhere, basically. I have this one of my original ones. Oh, somebody said these remind me of Tiffany glass. Oh, that's cool. Yes, that it does remind you of that. What else did I do? I have this other book. Oh, I like this one. So this was cool. While I was drawing, I saw a flower in the pattern. So I decided to color it in as if it's a flower. So this one is the purple flower. And here I see kind of like a tadpole, like on a water lily. I don't know. I like seeing things in the artwork. Let's see what other one. This one looks like a lot of blobs. More like stones. This looks like stones to me. And this one is very bright. I used all warm colors. Do I have another one? No, that's it. And there's others. Wow, I don't even know where I put them. I have them like everywhere. Literally, they're like everywhere. Because I enjoy making them so much that I made this one. I saw a little doggy, but I don't think you saw a doggy, right? Ingrid said she didn't see a dog, but I saw a little doggy.
I see a face. The
purple ears.
I'm ignoring the ears.
The ears are so cute. So I like this. For somebody who's a dog lover and you want to send them as a card, this would be so nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I see the dog.
No, I agree. But it reminded me a lot of was it Romero and Peter Max?
Brito, yeah.
No, but also Peter Max. That last piece that you had.
Yeah.
Bring that one back on screen. It reminded me a lot
and this
of
one.
Max. Yeah.
I really loved. And this one, I felt like when I was thinking of this one, I was actually thinking of kind of myself. And I feel like I'm sitting here in the corner. And this was very meaningful to me. That's why I framed it. You can see like a face here and kind of blowing wind. And first I was trying to think, well, whose face is that? Like, who is blowing? But then I actually almost thought like it's the face of God. That's what it felt like. It was on top of me, protecting me. And I don't know. It's a very meaningful one for me. And you can see him like the heart and everything. Oh, and Terry loves my bleached one. Let me look. So the bleach one.
Yeah. So you need to talk about the bleach a little bit.
The bleach. Okay.
Yeah.
So I made this one. And okay, so these are the two that kind of have bleach on them. So I decided that I wanted to do a bleach, try bleach on products, on paper, on markers, on whatever. And I thought, I'll just try it on, I just wanted to take a picture with this one. And the next thing I know, it spills everywhere.
Naturally.
And it made a whole mess of a blob right here. But then I thought, can I use it to kind of create markings? And I took my original one from my video and created these really cool markings, kind of like Zentangling, but without all the detail. It was really quick. I just went quick with it. And it basically just bleaches the color, right? But it doesn't touch the Sharpie. The Sharpie stays full, which is
But we have to
interesting.
point out, notice like she just said, the Sharpie stayed the way it was. So if you really didn't like what you did, I guess you could bleach your entire piece. So
Yes, you could.
yeah, which is
Yes,
kind
you
of
could.
weird.
Well, yeah. I mean, it bleach kind of doesn't bleach. Isn't that the purpose of bleach? I guess. Yeah.
I have a question, Karen.
Yes.
Rochelle is asking, is this art form, or sorry, in this art form, are we allowed straight lines?
Yes, of course. So, I mean, you mean like you can definitely have straight lines here. There's lots of straight lines in different places. It's the corners that need to be rounded. So, for example, if you want to create a square, you can. I could actually go here and create, let me see, I just want to fit it somewhere. Okay, here, maybe here. I can create a square line, okay? But the point is that you need to round the corners. That is, so it will be like kind of like a square, but not exactly. Okay. The other option you have is like what Ingrid said, is that after you create your actual piece, you can go and Zentangle. So Zentangling has definitely straight lines, and that works well with that as well. I personally, although I love geometrical shapes and I use a lot of straight shapes, I find that the round ones are what calms me. So depending on what the purpose is that you want to do. So if you want to, if your purpose is, yes, I can show you. Okay, if your purpose is to just do this for relaxation, then do what you love. Do anything that makes you happy. But if you're actually doing this to give it to somebody, or like you really want to be, more perfect with it, then, you can definitely think of the process and work with it that way. It's really up to you. There's no really rules. The only rule is to round the corners, because that is where it creates a transformation between negative and positive thought. Somebody asked if they can see the, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and no like abrupt lines, like you don't want to do like just right. You said like
That's
a
right.
line
Yeah,
has to be continuous.
That's right. You don't want this. So for example, originally I forgot to round them all the way till the end, like you can see here, but it's still all rounded. It's all like one piece, even if I didn't reach the endings, the outside edges, I meant to say.
I am down
somebody
to
has to see the hard
one final section, and I don't know what color to do.
Oh my gosh, I'm down to my last one too.
How funny.
The same
Yeah.
thing. I was like,
I would love for people to help me choose a final color.
One more thing I want to say when I really like doing this is that I like actually adding a border around them, and it would look really nice if, let's say, you're doing a card. So for example, I start arting the edge around the whole back, the whole square or whatever, rectangle, whatever I'm using. And then I round those corners as well. And then I can round the corners in between the shapes. So it really defines the beauty of it. If you like having like things framed, then that works really well. And especially if you're doing it for a card or something like that, although you can definitely mat it on black or in any other color. Oh, and by the way, I do have to say, you don't have to use a black Sharpie. There is people that have used like different color Sharpies.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You could do red, you can do blue. There's no really a rule about black. It's just that I find black gives you the most contrast.
Well, and that's the thing about art anyway. I mean, who says there's ever really, I think you can be free and do whatever you want it.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I'll show you how it looks framed, which I really like.
Karen, I know you, not Karen, but Karen Kreider, she suggested purple, but I don't have like the right purple. So I think I'm going to go neutral.
I feel it needs the gray there.
Oh yeah, Rochelle says for
Yeah.
Ingrid, use gray.
Yeah, that's what kind of like, this was the color I was thinking.
because you have it already with two
Yeah.
colors there, so it will make a triangle.
But I feel like it might need to be a lighter gray. I have too many zig markers out. I can't find what I need.
That's why I lined mine up.
Joanne is asking, what do you think of zig colors and what size kit do you have? So for me, I've had them for, I don't even know how many years, and I
Me
got
too.
them off of Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I have the 90 pack, and I've used these a lot, like
Me
not
too.
recently, but I find that the colors are still, like, even my favorites are still there. I love them.
Their quality is really excellent, I do have to say.
I have to say, I have not used my zig markers in probably 5 years,
Oh, wow.
to be honest. So this is the first time I'm using them after 5 years of just sitting on my desk in this little, because I moved them from Germany. That was probably the last time that I used them.
Which just shows you the quality that they did not dry up.
No, they're awesome. Because it's fluid. It's a fluid medium.
Yeah.
And another thing, so if you're going to give it as a gift or anything like that, or even if you're selling it as a print or something, sign your name on it. Don't forget to sign your name.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn mine into probably some cards.
Mm-hmm.
Not during the live, but after the fact. So I'll post those on my community tab. I don't know. I kind of want to die cut it too. I never die cut either.
That would look cool.
I kind of die cut like a circle or a heart and make it into two different cards, one with the negative space, one with the positive space.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. And then it would also kind of hold the neurographic art portion of it in enough of a pattern, I think.
Okay, this might look odd that I'm doing it halfway, but the cool thing about this book that I have is that I can actually rip the pages if I really want to. So I didn't realize I went all the way in with the color. So I think I'm going to color it black here because I really want the edge to the label, not the label, what do you call this? The border to be all around. So if I ever cut it to use it as a card or something, I know I have it edged properly.
I think this kind of works. It's not purple. It's a dark gray, but it kind of works. Yeah.
And there's also like you can, if you want to show, I can do this with each one of you. Hold on. I can show, we can zoom it in to really show the designs.
Now mine's going to be mine bled up top, which is fine because I wasn't planning on having it.
That looks
like
so
that,
nice.
but,
Wow.
yeah.
Can you believe how different they look? And they're, let me just go back to mine.
Yeah. So here, let me just put this onto a sheet of white paper.
That looks amazing.
So different. So different.
Yeah.
That's really cool, Terry. She's saying she's using Goo Gone to blend the watercolor pencil. She isn't sure how it's going to turn out, but she's experimenting. And
What's she using? Goo Gone?
Goo Gone, she said.
Really? Yeah. Wow.
Interesting.
Lisa, I'm not sure what a Karen brush marker is, but anybody know what that is? Karen, she's saying, will it work? And I'm not sure what it is.
I don't know. This was amazing. I just want to say, first off, Karen, thank you for teaching us how to do this, because this was really a lot of fun. And it was amazing. What I really love about it the most is, even though, these were not really the colors, I mean, I just kind of had fun with it. I definitely had too many colors out at once. I would recommend doing this yourself a second time. Limit your palette a little bit. You can see I have probably like 20 different colors out, and it's too many. Because I really love how you guys kind of stuck to a palette, especially you, Tiffany. I mean, that looks insane.
Yeah.
I'm scared of color. You guys should know this by now.
No, this is really cool. Because a lot of the artwork that I saw for neurographic art looked like this. Mm-hmm. And for me, I tend to go, even though it looks like I have a lot of colors, I tend to use the same colors over and over. I don't it might look colorful, but I don't go into like grays and browns at all. So
Yeah. So I'm curious about anybody who did it alongside us, what their results were. If you have any tips or anything like that, I'd love for you to drop that in the chat. And then, I'm just curious what everybody else experienced. So
Yeah.
and
definitely.
we're linking the color guide, the Neurographic Art Guide. Elaine just put it on my channel, but you guys will link it after.
I'm going to link it right here.
Yeah. And if you want to see the other video, the Neurographic Art video, I'm linking it at the end of my video as well.
Yeah, I'm going to make a little playlist with everybody's, video and resources. That'll be right here for anybody watching this on the replay. So yeah, this was amazing. Thank you. Thank you to every single person who joined. Thank you to Susan and Amy for being my moderators. I don't know about you three, you two.
And
Yes,
thank you. We're so grateful. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Thank
Tiffany.
you, Lynette and Nicole, for being my moderators. And I saw Chrissy show up. And thank you, everybody, for joining in. And we would love to see your work if you want to share. If you don't want to share publicly, then you can always find us somewhere to message us. Email. I'm on Instagram. Ingrid, I don't think really is too much, but
a little bit here and there.
But yeah.
And thank you, Elaine, for modding for me.
Yeah.
And please tag us, and we would love to see it. Even if, as I said, you can always email us. Our email's on our YouTube channel, so you can always email us if you don't want to share publicly, or tag us, and we would love to see it.
And hey, everybody, I can no longer say that I've never gone live.
Yay!
Love you guys. Love everyone. Love you, my friends, and love everybody who came. And thank you.
Yes.
Oh, Deborah, where can you share what you made? You can share on Instagram, on Facebook. You just tag our names so then we can see it. You can share it in my group too.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. Leave us comments, like, subscribe, the whole shebang. How's that? Fun? Yep. They're laughing that I said that.
Playlist right here. All the things. All of the
Bye,
things.
everybody. Have a happy
Bye, everyone.
Saturday. Great weekend. Ciao.
Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.